Human beings have been living in the Indian subcontinent for over 2 million years. Early man lived a primitive life of hardship and struggle. In this chapter, we will study the following topics: Early man, Old Stone Age, Invention of the Wheel, Religion, Beginning of the Age of Metals, Man as a farmer and herder. Important archaeological sites found in the Indian subcontinent.
Stone Age. The early men used tools and implements made of roughly dressed stone. These stones were used for hunting, cutting, and other purposes, and so this age is known as Stone Age. The Stone Age can be divided into 3 stages. Number 1. Old Stone Age or Palaeolithic Age. Paleo means old and lithic means stone. Number 2. Middle Stone Age or Mesolithic Age. Meso means middle. Number 3. New Stone Age or Neolithic Age or Late Stone Age. Neo means new.
They lived on trees or in caves and were basically food gatherers. They hunted wild animals for food and also gathered edible plants that were found growing wild. When the food available at a place got exhausted, they moved elsewhere. This is why they were called hunter, gatherer, and nomad. Food producer. Over a period of thousands of years, he progressed from being a food gatherer to a food producer. After this stage, he advanced quickly and stopped wandering from one place to another. Old Stone Age. The early period of man's existence is called the Stone Age. At this stage, man was a nomad who wandered from place to place gathering fruits, edible roots, and nuts. He hunted fish and animals for their flesh and hides. He ate raw meat. He moved in groups to protect himself from wild animals. Once he had consumed the fruits and animals of one area, he had to move to another area. Thus, he was constantly on the move, either in search of food, small prey, seasonal fruits, or water during the dry season. Natural phenomena. Early man did not understand natural phenomena like thunder or lightning, and was afraid of them. He was also afraid of ferocious animals like tigers, lions, panthers, rhinoceroses, etc. He took shelter in caves in hilly areas. Discovery and use of fire. The discovery of fire was probably accidental. Man must have noticed sparks when 2 pieces of stone struck against each other. This might have given him the idea that he could make fire whenever he needed, or perhaps he used the smoldering embers of a tree struck by lightning to make a fire. But once he came to know the usefulness of fire, he used it in many ways. At night, he kept a fire burning at the mouth of his cave. This prevented wild animals from entering the cave. Again, fire provided warmth during cold winter days and nights. He could also make his food softer and tastier by roasting it over a fire. Traces of ash have been found in Kurnool caves in India. Tools of early man. In the beginning, man used to gather food or kill animals with his bare hands. But it was not easy to dig out roots or kill big animals with bare hands. Therefore, he made crude tools and weapons of stone. However, the best defense against wild animals was yet to be discovered. Early tools and weapons. Early man's tools and weapons were made of stone. Man used a hard stone called flint along with other types of stones for making tools and weapons. Flint was the stone that was used for making fire. He found this type of stone easy to chip, so he gave various shapes to it. However, the tools that man made at this time were rough and unpolished. Some of these tools have been found in South India and in the Soan or Sohan River Valley in Pakistan. In some places, such as in Kashmir Valley, the bones or horns of animals were also used as tools and weapons. The tools used by primitive man can be grouped into three major types. Hand axes. They were mainly used to give smashing blows. In the beginning, they were used without a handle. Later on, they were tied to a wooden handle which made it possible for man to use it with greater force. Chopper. They were made of heavy stones worked to a sharp edge in one direction only and were most probably used for chopping meat. Flake implements. They were used as knives and scrapers for finer work. Evidence of early man. For many thousands of years of man's early history, the only remains that we can find are crude stone tools. These tools are often found lying along the terraces of rivers where early man used to roam in search of wild animals. They have also been found in caves and rock shelters where he once lived. Early man's life. Man was totally dependent on nature for his food supply. The first tools made by him served many purposes, such as skinning of dead animals, cutting their flesh, splitting their bones, etc. Prehistoric rock art. Old Stone Age man was fond of art. He painted pictures of men, women, birds and animals on the walls of caves he took shelter in. Middle Stone Age. With the climate warming up, vegetation flourished, and so did a vast variety of birds, insects and animals. Life was much easier now. Food was plentiful. Now that the ice had retreated, man made rapid improvements in every area of life in the Middle Stone Age, also called the Mesolithic or Microlithic Age. Man evolves to become a food producer. During this age, greater use of fire brought the next great leap towards civilization. Man learned more about his environment. He observed how seeds coming in contact with soil and water germinate and grow into plants. This was the beginning of agriculture. Wheat and barley were the first crops grown by early man. He started growing those plants that gave him food in his hunter-gatherer days. Apart from cultivating food grains, he also began domesticating useful wild animals such as dogs, sheep, goats, pigs, buffaloes, etc. He also learned how to use meat, milk, and hides of some of these animals.
Tool-making process. The stone tool-dependent societies and cultures still exist, but the concept is associated with prehistoric Stone Age cultures. Stone has been used in prehistoric period to make a wide variety of tools, including arrowheads, spear points and querns made of ground stone or chipped stone. Chipped stone tools are made from chert or flint, radiolite, basalt and quartzite with a process called lithic reduction. More complex forms of reduction include the production of highly standardized blades such as scrapers, knives, sickles and microliths. A closer look at MEHRGARH. MEHRGARH is located near the Bolan Pass to the west of the Indus River Valley and between the now Pakistani cities of Quetta. MEHRGARH was discovered by Jean-Francois Jarich in 1974 to 1986. Early evidence suggests that MEHRGARH existed as early as 7000 BCE, way before the Indus civilization. MEHRGARH is supposedly the most sophisticated, ingenious and best planned ancient farm villages of ancient India. The oldest ceramic figurines in South Asia were found at MEHRGARH. They occur in all phases of the settlement and were prevalent even before pottery appears. Mostly figurines of terracotta and clay have been found. MEHRGARH used to cultivate wheat, rice and barley. They also had cattle comprising of goats and sheep. The first use of cotton has been found at MEHRGARH. The people were buried along with pitchers and ornaments. There are mud brick houses and also granaries in MEHRGARH as early as 7000 BCE. Mehergarh civilization had a developed cure to dental caries and cavities. A closer look at Hunsgi. Hunsgi is a town in Hunsgi-Baichbal Valley, Karnataka, India. A number of early Paleolithic sites were found in Hunsgi. One old Stone Age site excavated at Hunsgi contained stone tools and weapons made from a reddish-brown chert. Tools found include long blades with sharp edges and many multipurpose instruments. Some habitation-cum-factory sites are also found. Most of the tools were made from the local limestone.
Neolithic Age. During the Neolithic Age, man continued to make tools out of stone, but there was a marked improvement in their shape, sharpness, and polish. Axes were made out of granulated stone pieces with sharpened edges. The scythe was made of a sharp, thin stone fitted into a wooden handle. Hammers were made with wooden handles. Bows, arrows, and spears were the chief weapons. Some new Stone Age tools found in Adichanular in Tamil Nadu and Halur in Karnataka are kept on display in museums. It was during this age that man invented the wheel. It was probably used to make earthen pottery. Later, it was adapted to fit on carts. This revolutionized movement of people and goods. It also led to the art of spinning. The invention of the wheel is considered to be a landmark in human history. Evolution of religion. It is interesting to note the beginning of religious ideas in man. Man was in awe of the mysterious forces of nature. He was afraid of thunder and lightning. He could not explain the rising and setting of sun and moon, changes of seasons, etc. He started worshipping various forms of nature out of fear. Later, man concluded that gods were responsible for natural phenomena and thus conceived the existence of a sky god, an earth goddess, a god of thunder, etc. In course of time, people of all cultures started worshipping imaginary gods representing natural forces. Trees and animals were also worshipped. Some of them were useful, while others were considered sacred. Death was thought to be a journey into another world from which no one returned. So, many things of daily use were put in the grave when the dead were buried. Chalcolithic period. Since primitive man used stone tools, the period is known as the Stone Age. The Neolithic people made rapid progress, which included the invention of the wheel. They started living in villages along river banks. Here they discovered a soft reddish metal called copper. Soon, people began to use copper tools. However, stone tools continued to be used for some time. This period is known as the Chalcolithic period in history. In India, copper was extracted from mines in Hazaribagh and Singhbhum districts of Jharkhand and some places in Madhya Pradesh.